The Detroit Tigers are the talk of baseball so far this season. The first to 30 wins, pushing the Dodgers for the #1 spot in MLB's power rankings, arguably the best pitcher in baseball, paired with a young roster full of budding stars, and one of, if not the best announcer in all of baseball. The vibes? Well, they're at an all-time high in the Motor City a quarter of the way through the 2025 season. And what's crazy is it feels like just yesterday that the Tigers were one of the worst teams in all of baseball. Oh, right. That's because they were. Did you know that from 2015 to 2023, the Detroit Tigers were the worst team in baseball over that span? In fact, before 2024 and their unlikely playoff push to end the season, they had lost 772 games over the previous 8 seasons, more than any other team. This includes their terrible 2019 season, where they lost the 7th most games in a season since 1900. So what the heck happened? How did they go from one of the consistently worst teams in baseball to one of the best teams in baseball in just a couple of seasons? As a Rockies fan, I need to know, what can they learn from the Tigers and their success? Buckle up, baseball fans. Today we dive into the 2025 Detroit Tigers. In particular, we're going to look at the 3 things that the Tigers have done that I believe have led them to becoming one of the best teams in all of baseball, including how they might actually be the biggest benefactors of the Astros cheating scandal. Welcome to Good Vibes Baseball. Please be sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Helps me out a ton, and I do appreciate each and every one of you legends. Now let's get into the good vibes, shall we? Drafting and developing talent is not an exact science. If it were, we wouldn't see the countless number of former top prospects who are now just lost to history. Ian Stewart, ring any bells? But the first and maybe the biggest reason that the 2025 Tigers were the first to 30 wins this year, they have drafted or acquired elite young talent and developed them wonderfully. And it's been both pitchers and hitters. Through May 20th, 2025, the Tigers were 7th in the entire league in runs allowed per game, 6th in ERA, and 8th in the league in WHIP and ERA+. A big reason for this pitching success? Their ace, Tarik Skubal. The 2024 Cy Young Award winner is arguably the best pitcher in all of baseball, and his numbers show it again into 2025. After going 18-4 with an AL-leading 2.39 ERA and a league-leading 228 strikeouts in 2024, Skubal has gone 4-2 with a 2.67 ERA while striking out almost 12 hitters per 9 innings pitched. As I write this, his FIP is even better than his 2024 FIP of 2.49. And guess what? He was drafted by the Tigers in 2018, in the 9th round. But Skubal is not the only reason the Tigers rank where they do pitching-wise. It's the other players that they have also drafted or developed. Casey Mize is finally consistently showing why he was the first overall pick back in that 2018 draft. Before landing on the IL with a mild muscle pull, he was 6-1 with a 2.53 ERA in his 7 starts. Reese Olson has also been fantastic to start the 2025 season with an ERA and FIP both under 3 prior to his own injury. He wasn't drafted by the Tigers, but was developed by them after a 2021 trade from the Brewers in exchange for Daniel Norris. Jackson Jobe is another highly touted first-round pick of theirs who just so happens to anchor the back end of this 2025 rotation. His fastball hasn't generated very many whiffs so far, but he also has 4 wins in his first 8 starts of his career. Plus, we already know how nasty the rest of his stuff is. And this is just in the rotation. Will Vest already has 5 saves to go along with a 1.66 ERA in 2025. He was drafted in the 12th round of the 2017 draft by the Tigers. In fact, of the 6 pitchers so far to post at least half a win over replacement in 2025, 5 are homegrown. And this is just their pitching. Offensively, a quarter of the way through the season, the Tigers have also been great. They rank 4th in runs per game while hitting the 7th most home runs and having the 5th highest team OPS and team OPS+. There's no way that's also from homegrown talent, right? Wrong. The Tigers have one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball, and it's pretty much all homegrown. Offensively, they also have been great this year. I mentioned where they currently rank, and guess what? It's also very much thanks to more excellent drafting and developing. Looking at the Tigers' offense, 11 players have played more than 30 games this year. Of those 11, only 4 of those players had Major League experience prior to joining the Tigers organization, and those 4 are not their 4 best performers. Sure, Javi Baez has been a revelation so far this year. More on him in a bit. Zach McKinstry has been great, and the bearded Gleyber Torres is looking more and more like his 2019 self. But this Tigers team offensively is carried by mostly homegrown talent. Spencer Torkelson revamped his swing after an abysmal 2024 season. The results have been amazing. Through May 19, 2025, Torque is 21st in all of baseball in WRC+. He's already hit 12 nukes, 12 doubles, driven in 38 runs, and has an OPS just under 900 in just 47 games so far. That's more nukes and RBIs than he had in 92 games last year. We can also see his improvements in the StatCast data too. In 2024, if Torque hit the ball, it most likely wasn't hit very hard, or if it was more often than not hit at a bad angle. His swing was quick, and he didn't really chase, but he still struck out too much, walked just a little bit, and wasn't even expected to do very much. Honestly, he just stunk. Well, not in 2025. He went from posting a -5 batting run value in 92 games to a +9 batting run value in just 47 games so far this year. He's hitting the ball harder, more consistently, isn't striking out as much, is walking more, and is squaring the ball up much more often. Spencer Torkelson has arguably been the breakout player of the year in baseball this season. This is what the Tigers were hoping for when they drafted him first overall back in 2020. But this is far from a one-man ship. Riley Green has also mashed for the Tigers this year. He might have my favorite swing in all of baseball. Drafted with the 5th overall pick of the 2019 draft out of high school by the Tigers. Green is a prime example of excellent drafting and developing. In fact, since his debut in 2022, he's actually just gotten a little bit better each season. His home runs went from 5 in 93 games to 11 in 99 games to 24 in 137 games in 2024. We see the same trend in his hits, doubles, OBP, slugging percentage, OPS, and OPS plus 2. And in 2025, he's just doing it again. Through his first 46 games, he hit 11 home runs and had an OPS close to 850. And he's just gotten hotter as I record this. But what's fascinating with Green, according to Baseball Savant, he's actually been worse this year than in previous years. He's not squaring the ball up as much and is striking out much more often. These are things we haven't seen in his numbers since his rookie year. So hopefully it's just a blip in the data. But even if it isn't, this version of Riley Green is still pretty dang good. But it's not just Green and Torque either. Offensively, the Tigers might be one of the most well-rounded teams in all of baseball. Dylan Dingler has been a bit of a revelation behind the plate this year with his 1.1 BWAR, 4 home runs, and an OPS north of 750. He is one of the best defensive catchers in baseball too, with his elite level blocking and framing. He was picked in the 2nd round of the 2020 draft and developed by the Tigers. Kerry Carpenter is a bit of a cult hero in the Motor City with his sweet swing and light tower power. If you are not familiar with his game, you should get acquainted. He's got 10 nukes and an OPS north of 800 while posting the same batting run value as Spencer Torkelson this year. He was also drafted by the Tigers in the 19th round of the 2019 draft. The 19th round! Trey Sweeney gave me nightmares for about a week after he smacked the ball around Coors Field for a series. He was acquired by the Tigers last year at the trade deadline from the Dodgers for Jack Flaherty, who they then re-signed following the season. Talk about smart business. But offensively, the Tigers are anchored by homegrown talent with more potentially on the way. Oh, that homegrown talent? And Javi Baez. Javi Baez might have one of the most fascinating careers ever. He went from being one of the best, most beloved middle infielders with the Cubs to one of the worst, most hated middle infielders with the Tigers. The reason for that, though? He was great with the Cubs, and I mean great. Signed a big deal with the Tigers, and then sucked. He had an okay 2022 season where he hit 17 nukes, but it has been all downhill from there. Until the 2025 season, that is. Javi Baez has been nothing short of phenomenal for the Tigers this year, and the second reason that I believe the Tigers are the first to 30 wins. They spent big on Javi, and he's finally starting to make that contract palatable. Maybe his failures did deter the Tigers from spending more, and actually has given chances to these young players, but again, he's been phenomenal to start 2025, and it's great to see him living up to that contract a little bit. Through May 19, 2025, he's hitting almost 300 with 6 nukes, 8 doubles, an OPS north of 800, and an OPS plus of 129. His OPS plus in 2024? 46. He was the second worst hitter in the entire league in 2024. But what's crazy is that his underlying numbers don't actually look that much better. He's not striking out nearly as much, but he's still chasing and not really walking. His batting average on balls in play is pretty high so far in 2025 too, so he has been a bit lucky. But I've seen that Gleyber Torres has been a positive factor for Baez this year. He didn't have that before, but the one thing that he has done without a doubt, he's been the ultimate teammate. Javi Baez has always been an infielder outside of a few games back with the Cubs, but with Jace Young's return from injury earlier this year, the Tigers asked Baez to shift to center field. Not only was he receptive to the idea, he's been nothing short of fantastic out there. So far in 2025, he's posted a fielding run value of 3, which is better than 89% of the league. Baez's production combined with this lineup flexibility has made him a key component for this Tigers team offensively, and a big reason they were the first team to 30 wins in 2025. Imagine if Devers embraced the move to first base like this, hey Red Sox fans? But the Detroit Tigers weren't the first to 30 wins in 2025 just because they drafted and developed excellent talent combined with Javi Baez's unlikely resurgence. You need the right skipper at the helm, pushing the right buttons while helping your team get better every step of the way. The Detroit Tigers have that, and it's all because the Houston Astros are a bunch of cheaters. I'm sure I'm going to lose a few of you with this take, but hear me out. AJ Hinch is a great manager, and he is the third reason that the Tigers are one of the best teams in baseball a quarter of the way through the 2025 season. He took over an abysmal Tigers team and has helped turn them around into one of the best teams in all of baseball. You want to know how highly the Tigers thought of Hinch? GM Al Avila called him 30 minutes after the Dodgers won the 2020 World Series, or 30 minutes after he was eligible to be hired by an MLB team. But I get it. The only reason that he was even available to be hired prior to the 2021 season was because he managed a team full of sign stealers, was suspended for a season, and was then fired after the suspension came down. Who cares if he's not the one who came up with any of it, or that he broke the monitors players were using on more than one occasion? Seriously, you should read Manfred's report on it. I have no idea how AJ Hinch gets a year while Alex Cora was fired and rehired by the Red Sox in the same calendar year. But scandal aside, the Houston Astros under AJ Hinch, the best team in the American League. Seriously, they won 481 games from 2015 to 2019, including the 2017 World Series. Manfred's report did find that the 2017 season was the only season where the sign stealing was really prevalent, so fine, look the other way at that ring. But that does nothing for 2018 or 2019, where the Astros were once again one of the best teams in all of baseball, or how he led the Astros back to the playoffs in 2015. Nor does it take away what he's accomplished so far with the Tigers. The 2019 Tigers lost the 7th most games in baseball history. Just 5 seasons later, and 4 into his tenure, he's leading the Tigers to 14 one-run victories in 19 tries over the final 2 months of the 2024 season as the Tigers make the playoffs. This is because of Hinch's ability to communicate his reasoning to his players and get them to buy into his message. And it's obviously working. Look at Javi. The Detroit Tigers are one of the best teams in baseball, a quarter of the way through the 2025 season, after being one of the worst ever just 6 years prior. How'd they do it? Not by spending big each and every year like the Dodgers, but by drafting and developing their young talent with help from a big money resurgence and by hiring an elite level skipper who the players actually connect to and trust. Hey Rockies, Hope y'all are taking notes. That's gonna do it for today, baseball fans. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think has led to the Tigers' early season success? You tell me. Also, please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and smash that like button if you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. I do appreciate each and every one of you legends. But until next time, baseball fans, cheers!